Yes, welcome back fellas. How you been doing? Yeah, not too bad myself. Those with a keen eye, or perhaps even literate, would have noticed we've got the Red Bull X 2014 Junior on the screen. So this is going to be the replay of round 17 in the FIA Nations Cup. So for those that were on the live stream, they've got a fairly good idea what's going to happen. But for those that didn't, buckle yourselves in, boys, because we're going for a ride. So due to a somewhat disastrous qualifying session, we find ourselves in 14th. The boys up the front, the local hero Pan Mac, one of the only A-graders in the room. We got Shifty rocking it out of 2, and Rennie Jr., the ever familiar, rocking it out of 3rd. So they're the boys that have the race to lose. So myself kicking off in 14th, really was just looking for a top 7. Top 5 I would be stoked, but getting into the top 10, top 7, yeah, that'll do me. So as we get this race underway, through some research, I was notified by a little birdie that we've got to save fuel and run as long as we can. So all the pros would know that we'd put the power down before the race started, but I didn't. So the race kicks off. We wanted to be in the most amount of power, so we didn't get overtaken on the straight away. But there you can see we're in the slipstream. We knock it back to 2. So yeah, Blue Moon Speedway, it sort of is what it is. 3 turns, 1 that you have to brake, and 2, I think 1 flat out, 1 lift. So yeah, lap 1. Didn't bring as much carnage as I thought it might have. Normally down into that turn 1, there's all sorts of stuff going on. So the blokes in front have pulled out a gap already, as our first victim rejoins the race. I was pretty surprised that they'd pulled out such a big gap already, but I was hoping they would be touching their brakes in here. Have a look at the old brake indicator there, no brakes. So we're lifting and coasting, and as we come out of turn 1, there was the lap 1 carnage, but on lap 2. So we find ourselves up in 11th, 10th, 9th. Watch out. We've got the bloke, white boy in front of us. He's going to pick himself up a penalty. So 8th is going to be on the cards. Now all I wanted was a top 10 finish. So being 10th at the end of lap 2, yeah, I'll settle for that. As we tuck into white boy's slipstream. Now anyone that saw the last, what do we call this, Blue Moon Speedway, anyone that saw the last Blue Moon Speedway would know bumping and drafting and not using any fuel is the way to go. As we come around lap 3, there's another bloke in the wall, another bloke in the wall, penalties everywhere. Lib 169, 189, whatever that says, is coming up for the overtake. We let him pass, jump straight in the slipstream. As you can see, still on fuel map 2. Lap 3 down, there's another penalty in front. This race is absolutely riddled with penalties. I'm trying to be as cautious as possible. I don't want any penalties. We'll tuck into the slipstream of Rennie Jr. He's made his way from 3rd all the way back to 6th. Another bump draft. A pretty handy bump draft it was there as well. More yellow flags as we come out of turn 1. Rennie almost up into the wall. We give it a glance. Nightwalker flies through there, but then he's going to take his penalty. So as we come up to quarter race distance, we're up into 6th. Go to give Rennie another bump draft, but he doesn't want a bar of it. He pulls out, which I was quite surprised at. He went the high road. I thought he might have welcomed the bump draft, but no. Not at all. So we ease our way through turn 3 in the slipstream again, still fuel map 2. Apex Predator coming for the move. He can have it if he wants. Another little bump draft. No, we just miss out. Rennie flies through there, getting all out of shape, down into the wall on the bottom. Sort of pretty hard to do that, but maybe not as hard as it looks. He's not the first bloke, so was lucky enough not to pick up a penalty. So we're just cruising here in 6th. Fuel map 2, 13 laps remaining. I remember having a glance at that. That looked like it was sort of the right fuel map to be in. Slipstream once again. Rennie tries to break it. He's darting all over the place. In my opinion, that gives you too much tyre scrub, so I'm not a huge fan of deviating for no reason. And then the lift and coast in here once again. Oh, Rennie, that was super aggressive, mate. He's ploughed someone into the wall. Another bloke is in the wall, and here we are, lap 6. The heart rate is starting to rise as we find ourselves in P3. Almost unbelievable. Actually, really unbelievable. So we're doing the lift and coast. No brakes into one. I believe we're not braking in here either. So I'm only lifting and coasting. Well, that was flat as well, so maybe it is 2 flats. 2 flats and a lift and coast. Because every time you touch the brakes, you got to use more fuel to recover that speed. So we don't want to be washing off any speed we don't have to get rid of. There we go. I thought it was my turn to drop into the wall then. Just got away with it. So Shifty out in front by short of 9 seconds. And at this point I thought he had it in the bag. So Snickers Bud doing okay. 4 seconds up the road. As Pan Mac, the pole position, is hunting me down. So he's sitting about 6/10 off. And I think he catches me quite comfortably here. Must be running some fuel map 1. Yeah, look at the way he just draws in there. Massive in the mirrors. So I don't want to let him have the outside. I want the outside. If he's going to overtake, he can go up the inside. So lift and coast. Out into the wall. And that tactic seems to be working. As here we go. Pan Mac hunts me down again. He's more than welcome to go past. We leave the inside open because we want some more slipstream. So there it is. The slipstream of Pan Mac. Now, I had all my money on Shifty to win this race, but if there was someone else that was going to win it, it would definitely be Pan Mac. He's always a good bet. He's been racing pretty well. I've raced him a few times recently, and he's always had a solid result. So we're going to go for the bump draft, and at this point, I think it's Pan Mac that we start bump drafting, and I'm like, come on, mate, come on. Let me do it. Let's catch the guys in front. We've got a 10-second gap that we have to catch as Gr.X R6 now closes in. So what are we? Look at the fuel there. See, Pan Mac didn't want to... I was more than happy to bump draft with these guys. He didn't want to take the lead. He obviously wanted to save some fuel too. So Gr.X R6 goes into the lead, and we're going to tuck into his slipstream as well. Like, I'm more than happy to have 1 lap each as the lead car, but they don't seem to be happy every time they sit behind me. They pull out and go for the overtake, and then when I slipstream they want to break it. So at this point we're now 12 seconds away from Shifty, and I'm thinking that the bump draft is the only way we're going to catch him. We really need to hunt him down. As Pan Mac notices Gr.X R6 is leaving the scene, he heads off down the road after him. So 9 laps to go, 8.7 worth of fuel. I hadn't really noticed that at the time. I was thinking, I'm going to pit around lap 15, lap 16 if I can. As Pan Mac looks like he must have dropped a fuel map. He's starting to look to save fuel. So I'm more than happy, like I've said 1,000 times, and we can all have a drink if I say bump draft and team game and all that kind of jazz. As we come around the corner, BJ, XR6 and Snickers Bud of serving penalties. So there it is, top three once again, Shifty, Pan Mac and INXILE GTR. Well over half distance now. As we take a look at those lap times, it's nearly constant 47s, dropped to 2:48s in there. Obviously I was getting held up because we're straight back down into the 47s. Shifty with a 13-second, best part of 14-second lead now. So this race is all but won. He's going to stand up on the podium and take his first place. Now I'm not sure if my line is the good line through turn 1, but it seemed to be different to most other people. So take with that what you will. As we have a quick glance in the mirrors. Now I wish I could say this bloke's name. Is it Pesco71 or Paco71? Rosie Miero. Pan Mac taking a bit of wall with him. The race starts to die down at this point. Or it seems like it's dying down. It's starting to settle into some rhythm. Shifty out to a 15-second lead. He's got nearly a pit stop. Or what is a pit stop at most tracks. Might be a bit less, a bit longer. Not too sure what the pit stop time here was. As now Rennie looks to be the bloke hunting me down at a great rate of knots. He was at a 1.5 knot 10 seconds ago. Quick look in the mirrors and he's coming. Starting to drop Pan Mac. Pretty much have dropped him. We're sitting at about 1.5 seconds. Still running 47 sixes consistently. Gotta say constantly then, but yeah, almost the same thing. As who's got the run here? Pecco or Pasco? Both of them have got the run there. So we let them pass, and it's about now. I think I'm beginning to analyse the fuel. 5 laps to go, 5 laps of fuel. Blue flag's waving. Oh, my English is perfect. These kids should learn to speak English like me. Paco obviously backing off there, looking for some slipstream. Or maybe he just got a bad exit. Or maybe it was my slipstream just sucking me in. And look at that, we get a rush of blood. Fuel map up to 1. I can see the race is coming to an end. And I don't want to lose positions. I remember thinking that at the time. I was like, I've just got to stay with these guys. I can't let them gap now. I've got a top 3 finish in the bag here. Top 3. And then we use a little bit of fuel map 3 as we hop in the slipstream. So I think it was Rennie that pulled into the pits last lap. Pan Mac in the lead. So Shifty has fueled. Shifty must have pitted that lap as well. So we're going to bump draft Paco and we're going for Pan Mac. But once again, Paco doesn't want a bar of the bump drafting either. He pulls aside to let me past. And as we come around turn 3, Pan Mac is staying low. Yes, he's stayed low and he's going into the pits. In the mirrors, I believe, Paco drops into the pits as well. And we've inherited P1. So we've got all of lap 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 4 laps and 2.7 laps of fuel left. What should we do? I remember looking at the fuel map. I'm analysing it down this straight. 2.5. What can we do? Those blokes pitted with 0 fuel, so they'd obviously been fairly heavy. They've made lap 16. This was the lap I wanted to pit. So as we come down here, do I pit this lap or don't I? I'm not too sure. I've got 2 laps to make up my mind. As 13th is backwards sliding down the straight. Okay, so the maths is done. All of 17, 18, 19. 3 laps, 2 laps of fuel. Oh shit, it's 1.7 now. So we go to fuel map 6 and we'll see what the fuel burn for this lap is. So we need 1 lap of fuel left on fuel burn 6 to make the end of the race. We've got a 30-second lead. What's it going to be? The fuel burner's starting to look okay. I remember perspiring profusely right about now. I think that was way too many P's in a sentence. Probably be... oh, here we go with another P. And trying to whip a B out at the same time. Getting some mic pop. So we have over 1 lap of fuel left, do we? Yes, we do. 1.2, fuel map 6, down to a 28-second lead. Can we do this? As 12th has picked up a penalty in the wall there. So we're losing 2 seconds a lap. Lap 16 is a 47.5, fuel map 6, lap 17 a 49. So assuming we don't run out of fuel, the 30-second lead is enough. Tyres are looking okay, they feel fine. Pretty sure they're still brand new, even though we can't see them. I think that's a 26-second lead now. As we come across the line, we've got 0.7 worth of fuel. Yeah, that's definitely going to make it. We had 1.2, so we're using about 0.6 per lap. Another 49. Yeah, I'm feeling strong about this, boys. Feeling strong. Even if we run out of fuel, we've got more than enough speed. Was definitely nervous enough to put it up to fuel map 1 though, just in case one of these back markers caught me and put me off. 1 more turn to go, 0.3 of fuel. Only McLaren could lose it from here. And there it is, we pull on to the inside to take the checkered flag, and I cannot believe it, that is a round 17 FIA win as BBB unlaps himself. I am absolutely astonished. The no stopper, Blue Moon Speedway was the way to go. 15 minutes, 23 elapsed time. I think we're going to do this almost a 25-second win, I think. So Rennie Jr. is going to find himself in second, so he's come back. Pan Mac down in third. That is unusual for him. So it ended up being the battle for second, and the no stopper takes home the biggest trophy available. Shifty down in 5, so that's a reasonable race for him as well. So thanks for tuning in, fellas. If you made it this far through the video, give it the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and that's going to be all from me. Thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you later.